Good evening, everybody, and I'm very excited to announce the start of our HR career panel discussion. So today we're going to be joined by experienced HR professionals working in some epic technology businesses. We have Oakam, Zenseact, H&M, Trustpilot. Each individual will do a short presentation on their company, what they specifically look for when hiring, open positions that they currently have that you can make applications to, and then we will end with an open panel discussion where we'll share our valuable insights on how you can stand out in what is a very crowded job market, how you can approach salary negotiations, promotion discussions, and so much more. So Sophie Thien will be taking the stage to share more about Oakam.
Hello. Hi, everyone. I'm Sophie. I'm the Chief People Officer at Oakam. We are a microlender, and we basically serve the underserved market here in the UK. So a couple of the roles that we normally look to hire is predominantly in the engineering space. We look for anybody who has full stack skills, React Native skills, as well as JavaScript as well. We hire them. And as our team continues to grow, we also look for product managers that we bring in. So these are mostly two of the main roles that we tend to hire. And then at the same time, as the customer base grows as well, from time to time, we do expand the marketing team. So that's in a nutshell about me.
Wonderful. My name is Louise Bischler, and I'm going to share my screen before I start. Share screen. Let's see here. Here we are. All right, so my name is Louise Bischler, and I am heading up the recruitment and employer branding function at Zenseact. We are a tech company developing the software, the full software stack for autonomous driving vehicles. We have our headquarters in Sweden, Gothenburg, where I am based, and we also have operations in China, in Shanghai. So self-driving cars is a hot topic at the moment, and this cutting-edge technology with the potential to shape the future of mobility and also save lives is truly inspiring for me. We have our brand purpose, which explains why we exist, and we are developing a product that doesn't exist today, and the way to the goal is unknown. So innovation, pushing boundaries, and leading safety is key. And this is where diverse perspectives is a necessity. So I've been with the company for 4 years, and I'm part of the people team. And based on our company strategy, we have a people strategy that supports the business, where we build a culture where we put the teams in center and the people at heart. And this means different things to us, as you can see. And we talk about skill set and mindset, and these are just equally important when we choose who to hire. I want to highlight what this actually means to me in my role. And we have, there are two main values that make me succeed in my role. And that is to push boundaries and always challenge hiring teams and hiring managers when looking at who to hire, how to formulate job descriptions and candidates' requirement profiles. So always ask one more question. I always make sure to put together diverse hiring teams, because studies show that when women are active in the recruitment process, gender diversity tend to increase. Also, to grow trust in all working relationships, so you ensure that the organization trusts you and your processes. And just as important, make sure to play an active role when it comes to balancing structure and engineering with the gut feeling and intuition. Last but not least, we are growing. We're 550 people at the moment. We will probably grow with around 50 people during 2021. And we're looking for software developers, algorithm developers, system architects, high performance computing engineers. It's a very big mix. So connect with me and check out our career site. And I look forward to being in touch. Thanks.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing, Louise. That was really great to get an insight. And I believe that Nidhi is up next, sharing her insights into life at H&M.
Hi, people. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for inviting us. And let me start sharing my presentation. And yes. You see that? All right, you guys see and hear me? Okay. I don't hear anyone, but let's go. Let me present it. And so yes, first I would like to introduce myself. I am Nidhi Ilman. I am based here in Stockholm, Sweden, but originally from India. And I have been in IT and recruitment industry now for 11 years. And my expertise is within recruitment, coaching, and all that's agile within HR. And let's talk some bit more about H&M Group. So let me ask you, what's the first picture that comes in mind when you hear H&M? Well, I think it's not fair enough. I have our logo up here. So of course, the red and white image, which is one of our brand. And we at H&M Group is much bigger than this. So how many of you knew that H&M consists of 8 brands today? So we have 8 unique brands that are united by a common passion to make great design accessible to everybody and to lead the way towards a more inclusive and sustainable world. And under H&M Group, as you see, we have these brands. We have H&M itself, and then we have COS, Weekday, Monkey, H&M Home, and other stories, Arcade, and our latest A Found. So a very big company. It would be hard to cover everything in 5 minutes. I mean, I can talk about it for 3 hours, but let's see how I do. Now, as a company, our vision is to be the most loved design group in the world. Our customer want us to be more personal and more transparent and sustainable. And we do listen to them. So we are focusing a lot on sustainability and to build an ecosystem. We strive to be fully circular and climate positive by 2040. And to do this, our priorities are energy efficiency, to use a lot of renewable energies, to be a climate resilience, which means we're going to be reducing our carbon footprint, and circularity, circular fashion, of course, where we can reuse and recycle. And if you today go in any of our H&M shop, you would see these boxes where you can recycle your clothes, and we reuse that fabric again. So I think great initiative. And now for our values are reflect the heart and soul of H&M. We want to say that at H&M we care about our customer, we care about each other, we like to have fun, and this shows in the way we work. And if you look at our values, so individually our values may seem obvious, but when you put them together, our unique company culture is born. Our values are part of who we are, what we stand for, and how we act. So if you see that we are cost conscious, we are always improving, we believe in people. So all those who join H&M, we make sure that we are very true to our values. And now, yes, working at H&M, I mean, I'm a recruiter. I want everyone to come and start working for us. And you would be thinking, why should you work for H&M? Well, we are on a digital transformation journey, breaking new grounds. In our function, which was just formed mid-2020, summer last year, which is called Business Tech, where we are bringing together capabilities within IT, engineering, data science, machine learning, advanced analytics, and business development. What we want to do here, we want to release the power of people, data, and technology to become even more customer-centric. And in order to do that, in the coming years, we're going to be hiring a lot of people, a lot of engineers, data scientists, agile, everything within agile, product owners, business experts, because our full business tech organization is a very agile organization. So when you go on our career site, you will be seeing a lot of position within technical product owners, within software engineers. We want skills within SAP, one of a big area, then also cloud platforms, Azure, .NET, Java, well, a lot positions out there. So yes, it's a really exciting journey, and we are really getting digital. So if you have passion for both fashion and tech, or if you just want to be part of shaping a completely new way of delivering value through tech, data, and engineering, then I think there is no better place than H&M. Yes.
Thank you so much, Nidhi. It's great to get an insight into H&M, and I didn't realize you had 8 brands, so you learn something new every day. So anyone who is interested, please reach out to Nidhi. Really appreciate your insights and look forward to the panel discussion. Next up, we have Marie, who is the Global Head of Talent Acquisition at Trustpilot. Welcome, Marie. Oh, I can't hear you, Marie. Technical difficulties. We're going to go with the headphones. Still can't hear you, unfortunately. So we will wait until Marie has sorted out her microphone, and hopefully we can get that working in a moment. But like I said, we are going to have a panel discussion after the presentation. So we want to hear from you. What questions do you have to ask directly to these hiring managers? So some of the things we're going to be addressing is how you can make your profile stand out in what is a crowded job market, and so much more. Marie, how's it going?
I don't know if you can hear me now. You can hear me. Perfect. Wouldn't be a true presentation call online if we didn't have these issues. Gotta love it. But hi, I was just saying I really admired the background of Nidhi, who had snow in the background. I don't have quite a nice background, but I think I made an entrance now with my mic problems. So let me share my screen, and hopefully that will work out. Let's see here. Okay. I'll just do it like this. Okay, so Trustpilot. Here we go. Thank you so much, Ellie, for inviting me to doing this. My name is Marie. I'm the Global Head of Talent Acquisition here at Trustpilot. I joined Trustpilot a year ago now. And just a really short introduction to Trustpilot. I think you all know it, but it's the world's most powerful review platform. It's free and open to all. So what we do is that we bring consumers and companies together to continuously share, collaborate, and improve. And the power of our platform comes from being open to all, consumers and companies, while remaining independent of both and completely transparent. So what we do is that we give everyone a voice. Reviews are published instantly. There's no censoring, no delays. Everyone can share their experiences, and companies can freely invite and respond to reviews. So we work really hard to make sure that you're reading reviews based on real experiences. And to date, we have over 120 million reviews submitted by consumers. And we have a mission to become a universal symbol of trust. It was Trustpilot was founded in 2007. It was actually here in Denmark, and the headquarters is still here in Copenhagen. We have 8 global offices, more than 700 employees. 42% of them are female employees, and we have more than 49 nationalities represented. So it's quite diverse and international. Our mission is to become a universal symbol of trust, but that is quite ambitious. And we know that to achieve that, we have to walk our own talk of openness and transparency. We have a set of shared values that guide how we behave, make decisions, approach everything we do. Our platform is built in them, and they give everyone at Trustpilot also a chance to shape the business. And I want to highlight one of them. I won't go through all the values, but we also hire according to how we see the candidates live up to our own values. So, for example, the value being open to all. What does that mean? It means everyone is embraced and included for who they are and what they bring. We want you to be you. We value diversity in all its forms. Everyone has a voice. Transparency is our default. So again, I won't go through all of them, but this was just to give you an idea of our values, of our culture. And why is that important? I think especially within recruitment, it's really important because there's a high potential for a lot of unconscious bias and discrimination to go unchecked within recruitment if we don't actively address it. And within talent acquisition here at Trustpilot, we're working to become much more inclusive during all steps of the process, including training for both the TA team, hiring managers on how to attract, screen, communicate with, interview, hire candidates. And what we have done is that the TA team and the hiring managers, they have attended several breaking bias trainings. And we have also implemented different other tools that I can tell you about if you're interested. But one of the things that we have seen is that our language and the words we use makes a difference. So certain language can lead to an exclusion of specific ages, genders, and ethnicities. And we have implemented a tool to highlight some of that biased language. And through A and B testing of job ads, we actually saw an increase in both diverse applicants and also overall applications when using more inclusive language. So I just want to pass on that to all of you. It's also crucial to diversify our sourcing strategies and our advertising platforms. As a result, we have partnered with different more diverse job boards and referral programs. And I want to say something about referrals because generally companies place a lot of value on employee referrals, and recruiters report that they are the top source of quality hires. But actually, women are far less likely than men to ask for a referral to a job they're interested in, even when they have a connection in the company. And to account for this, we have examined the top sources of hire at Trustpilot and considered sourcing strategies that are more inclusive of underrepresented groups. So the pipeline should be a healthy blend of referrals, active applicants, and also source candidates. Last but not least, I'm a member of TWIL. TWIL is Trustpilot Women in Leadership, and these are some of the pictures from our events. We have mentoring programs, monthly events, and a great network for women at Trustpilot. So TWIL is an employee-led resource group for women. Its mission is to foster strong leadership at Trustpilot by identifying and empowering and equipping high-performing women to move into leadership positions. So yeah, just wanted to say Trustpilot is a pretty awesome place to work. Go to our career site to see the open roles. We're growing. Right now we have 68 open roles. We're looking for data analysts, BI developers, software engineers, SREs, just to name a few. But yeah, we have our full tech stack on StackShare, so you can go in and see that. But please also feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marie. That was really insightful. And now I'm excited to kick off our panel discussion. So if we could bring everyone up on the screens and then we can dive into it. So like I said, everyone, now is the time to present your questions. We want to hear from you, so please feel free to interact and engage. And how I would like to kick things off is, for me personally, I mean, I've been having so many conversations with people who have been making applications and just not hearing anything back from jobs that they feel they're genuinely a good fit for. So I'd love to hear from each of you. What top tips can you share for people to make their profile stand out in what is a very crowded job market? So yes, we have CV and cover letter, but outside of that, what can they be doing? Who would like to kick this off?
I think I can say that, yes, of course, I think it's very important when you apply on a job, please read through the job description. I think I get a lot of CV just blindly thrown in. And then, then you, of course, when you send a CV, you want a response. So make sure you have the skill which is mentioned out there on the job. Read through this. And if you suppose that there are some skill, you have done it, but make your CV according to the job description. It's okay sometimes to tweak it and say that, oh, I have worked in this field of HR, but it doesn't pop out in my CV, but your job requires it. So, let me write a bit more about it. So be more relevant. And when you write cover letter, so of course, it's again a debate. We should accept cover letter, don't accept cover letter. I think go ahead, write it, tell the company why you want to join them, what is it in you which other candidates might not have. So I think I like to read all that.
Cool. So it's all about tailoring and customizing. I think that's really important, and mirroring the language that you have on the job descriptions. Louise, what are your thoughts on this? What is it that you look for as Zenseact?
I would say to be personal in your resume. It's easy to get stuck in templates that you can find on the internet, but to start off your resume with your pitch, which would consist of 4, maybe 5 sentences of why you are the best candidate for this position. And that would be more of a personal touch, preferably along with a picture. And that's at least how the job market tends to evolve here in Sweden, even and also when recruiting people internationally. I don't know what you guys think, but people tend to have photos on their resumes nowadays. I'd also recommend to pinpoint 1 or 2 top achievements from each and every position that you've had, instead of getting stuck in listing the tasks that you've actually had. So pinpointing your achievements and also linking this to how that would contribute to the job that you are applying for. Those are my 2 top advices.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing, Louise. And Marie, from your perspective, what are your thoughts on this as well, standing out?
Yeah, I very much agree with what has already been said. But if I should build onto that, I would say that the recruitment process is a 2-way street. So, we want to get to know you, but you should also do your research on us. So the more research you do, the better you'll be prepared and the more impressed we'll be. So I think going back to what was said in the beginning, but really tailoring, that is where I personally find that the candidates really stand out. And then again, what I mentioned before in my presentation, that we know that women are less likely to get referrals. So that's also a point I want to stress to stand out.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Marie, for sharing. And Sophie, what are your thoughts on this?
I personally love receiving very personal applications. For example, even for HR roles or any other roles, I tend to like some of the applications that really pop out to me are the ones that really go beyond what they're just doing in terms of tailoring their CV as well as their cover letter. They answer the questions really well. Obviously, some application forms always ask you about what do you think about our culture? What is it that you're looking for? Tell me a bit more about yourself. Really capitalize and use that opportunity to bring your personal side, because I think making yourself a lot more relatable is really important. And then I also love receiving those applications where they really go outside of the box. For example, it could be a coordinator role, even as an office manager role, for example. There's definitely programs and projects that you've done and put together, and they put it together in a presentation deck, for example. So instead of having long-winded cover letters that really repeats and talk about some of the projects, maybe not everybody will obviously have an end-to-end accountability on a large project, but being able to showcase that you have contributed to some of them are also really important, especially for junior mid-level positions, obviously. And presentations like that are usually definitely capture my heart. On the other hand, I'm not sure what other people, how other people feel about this, but being approached on LinkedIn as well, instead of, there are two ways of approaching someone on LinkedIn. Either you go really cold and, you send a really long message and say, this is basically a copy and paste of your cover letter. Or the ones that I really prefer is usually a short note. Hi, Sophie, just want to let you know, research about the company, really interested in that role, have already applied, look forward to hear back from you. It's a quick personal gesture that really makes you pop out in terms of, thousands and thousands of applications.
It's really good to get an insight on that, Sophie. I think that LinkedIn can be such a powerful tool if used the right way. What are everyone else's thoughts on this? How would you like to be approached from a potential hire for your organization?
If I were to say something, I would say that do like Ellie. So Ellie, I remember you approached me with sending a video message, and I thought that really stood out, and I really like that. I really like that approach. I don't see a lot of candidates doing it, but hereby encouraging people, because that is really, showing who you are and putting so much more personality into a message than just written words. So yeah, hereby encouraging others to do the same.
So just
I could add. Oh, sorry. You go ahead.
Louise, take the stage.
I can relate to how social media and especially professional platforms like LinkedIn is an excellent tool for networking and also gathering industry insights to network around, check out some role models that you might have, and see how are other peers out there having their profiles. Do they have, what type of pictures do they have, what content do they have, how are they building their personal brand? So that's also a great piece of advice to utilize the crowd, not just see it as a competition, but also something that you can get inspiration from.
And what would you say are some big no-nos, just that you've maybe experienced through social platforms that people should steer clear of?
Well, I mean, I would definitely like to lift that up. That don't just throw your CV. I mean, there is an apply button on all the job. I think we all face that. Like, hey, here is my CV. Go find me a job. So I think that thing. I mean, if that I sent, there is a job description, and not one person in an organization is handling all the jobs. So there is a way. We have posted an ad. Please apply. So yeah, of course you connect with recruiters, and as Sophie said, build your own brand. Get notified by recruiter, but that's a personal way. You can write and say, hey, I've been following H&M, really interested. I'm also doing this. So, but rather than just sending your CV, and I mean, it's GDPR. I cannot just anyway accept your CV.
Again, so it's reaching out, tailoring, customizing. I think there's a little bit of hesitation sometimes around actually getting your personality across in a CV or cover letter and breaking a barrier maybe of professionalism. So what can you share on this? How can people actually get their personality across, show that they can fit in culturally? What would you look for here?
So you mean directly at the, I mean, it's hard to see someone's personality by their CV. So they really have to, our first question back, like they really have to make an impression if everything which we have written in the job is not in the CV. But after they have made this impression, they are at the interview. I think people should not take interview as a task. I think it's an adventure. Either you're going to get the job or you're going to go away learning a lot more about the company and yourself. So use that for next stage, next time you're invited for an interview. But I think people really have to, again, do a little bit of the research on the company you're applying, read every company have following, like what is up in the news. So read about them. And when you are in the interview and before I ask you about, say, for example, Agile, and if you already start talking about what we are doing, of course, it's going to be like, oh yeah, this candidate, know what we are doing and this is what we want.
Yeah, I think that when it comes to showing personality, it is quite difficult. So I guess I'm thinking, should people put hobbies that they're into? Should they list characteristics and back that up with tangible examples? Could this add value to you all?
Yeah,
I think so.
You go, Louise.
I think so. I mean, just a small box on the resume with your personal hobbies can tell a bit about who you are as a person. On the other hand, I think that's also what comes up during the interview process when you actually get to know the individual. But of course, in order to get through in a good way when in an actual interview, of course, as a candidate, you do get nervous, which is usually a good sign because it means you care. But it can also change the way your personality is actually getting through to the hiring team. So a big piece of advice from my side is to find your personal triggers that puts you in the right state of mind and in the natural energy state that is true for you. Maybe you guys have heard about the power pose. Go into the bathroom or wherever and do the power pose for 2 minutes and get back to the interview, and that will hopefully you will be more mindful. You will be prepared and you will feel strong, because the confidence aspect in the interview and enhancing your personality in that sense is very, very important.
I would like to add one really good point here about personality, since I think all of us have also seen it's very common nowadays, all this personality test, which is part of many interview processes. Yes, I mean, some recruitment are depending on this personality test, but I just want to tell the candidates out there are a lot of tests which is available for free. So go, even if the recruitment process doesn't require one, just go ahead and, try some of them out. It gives really good result. It tells you about your personality, and then in case it also tells you, okay, this is how I am perceived, maybe how I should talk, what should I change. So I think that's a really good idea people should try.
That's a really good point, Nidhi. Thank you for sharing. And Sophie, I know you were going to say something as well.
Oh no, I just wanted to echo back to personalities and culture. Obviously, I care about culture a lot, but I think it's also very important for the applicants to understand that while it's a good opportunity for the company to get to know your personality and your character a little bit more and to sort of have an overview understanding of how well you will fit into the business, it's also just as equally important for the candidate to realize whether or not they actually will fit into the culture and the value and obviously the principles about the company. So I think it's, as a candidate, sometimes, you're looking for a role and you're meeting different people. Yes, maybe you do not come across as, exactly as how you wanted to present yourself. But I think also some of the some of the nerve-wracking sort of nervousity comes from the fact that they want this role so much that they forgot to really think about themselves. So normally I would advise my candidates when they come into the interviews to make sure that they understand this is equally just as important to them as it is for us. It's because at the end of the day, we don't want to make a bad hire when it comes to cultural misfits, but at the same time, candidates also need to make sure that this is absolutely the right journey for them. So definitely what I would say in that advice is if the interviewer doesn't integrate this as part of the conversation while you're having that interview, make sure as a candidate, you always have that reminder for yourself. Put a little post-it note there to make sure these are the questions that are really important for me. These are the triggers. I want to ask more about, okay, how many female do you have in the business? You know, diversity is very important to some people. Maybe it's not for some, or time management, all these things that are important to you. I would say if you're the candidate, definitely make that effort to make sure you're getting into the right roles.
Yeah, I think it's not being afraid to put the interviewer in the interview seat as well. So asking them important questions that are going to help you realize if this is the company for you, because that is equally as important. We have a question from one of our watchers, and this is from Paula. She wants to know, what advice would you have for someone trying to move their career to another country? So relocating maybe to your business from somewhere else.
Well, now I think if you are open for adventure, go for it. Why not? I mean, life is too short. And if you can move around, see the world, you should definitely apply. We at H&M Group, we do love, I mean, we are such a diverse company. And I think it doesn't matter where candidate is sitting because, you know, nowadays relocating someone is it is such an easy task. So we don't think it's a big, so our application, most of them are coming from abroad, and not even once we as a recruiter, we do reject someone because of location, because we are like, talent is wherever it is. If you are the one person, we're going to bring you here.
That's really great to hear. And everyone else, I know you're working at quite international businesses as well. So what advice can you share here?
I would say go for it. I mean, it's just to be bold and to understand that it's okay to be outside of your comfort zone, to be uncomfortable, because it's a very big move. One piece of advice could be to make sure you join a company that are used to recruiting internationally and who can support the process, and that they have a very multicultural workforce with all that's included there, because that will make the process easier and more fulfilling.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Luis, on that one. I think just looking at Trustpilot, at least, it's, we have a moving to Denmark guide, for example, that we send to all the people that we relocate. We have lots of events when we're allowed to, right? Right now it's virtual. But anyway, all of this, welcoming people. So when we were in office, we would have lots of gatherings, so you're not alone, because it can be quite lonely actually moving to a new country and building that network. But if you're in a company where it's normal that you relocate and that people don't have a lot of friends and family around them, then you will see that you already have a lot of friends, because your colleagues will become your friends and your family, and that way you will already have a really great basis for feeling at home in your new country. So I think very much agree with Luis. I think it's really important to look for those companies that help you settle. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, Marie. So do your research and see if these organizations also are international. That would be our advice to you, Paula, and we hope that this helps. Something that I also want to address, and Leah done a great presentation earlier on self-advocacy and salary negotiations, but more from a HR perspective, if someone's working in your organization, what advice can you share to them for approaching the salary negotiations and really breaking down that stigma of it being quite a daunting and scary thing?
Yeah, this is super important. And when it comes to salary negotiation, I just want to say first, I think I often hear that women can negotiate, and that's rubbish. I hate when I hear that. Negotiation requires a lot of emotional intelligence, knowledge, and relation building. So women should be brilliant at this. We're set to have a really high EQ, emotional intelligence. So, but having said that, I think it's important to say that negotiation is not an equal playing field. There are some specific barriers for women, unfortunately. Some of the challenges for women are that when we think about negotiation, we associate it with traditional masculine values. So it's about challenging and battle, and it demands strength. And there can be a certain reluctance from some women that I see. And we're also less vocal about our strength. So looking at, studies about this as well, women tend to be less pushy. But what is also a problem is that we are less likely to have open conversations with our friends about salary. And that way we have, smaller networks than men, and also less information at hand, which is very unfortunate. So speak to your friends about salary. I would also say women tend to have lower aspiration levels on our own behalf. And we're much better at negotiating actually for others than for ourselves. So I would definitely say that the strategy should be to create a plan like you do with all other projects. Is there a foundation for negotiation at all? I can give you this, you can give me that. Really thinking strategically, not just operational, tactical. I would say step 2 would then be to use your advantage as a woman. Understand the other party by creating a great relationship. Understand their needs. So what could the other party want from me? What is the other party's best alternative for not giving me what I want? So these kind of thoughts. And then step 3, what could you potentially want? Make sure that you write everything down. And what is your ultimate want? So there I want to say, start higher than you think, because women tend to start lower. And then what is the best alternative? That could be not just more money, but, vacation or something else. And then last point, and that's coming from an HR perspective, I have to say, but that is stop talking, be silent. Because always often, let me say that, when I see female employees talk too much when they negotiate, and that backfires. Mm-hmm. So when your future or your current manager, they start talking about how, they need to consider the whole team. That's their responsibility. That's not yours. And here I often see that women, they back out of the negotiation, and men, they just tend to be quiet and wait. So yeah, you got me started. That's one of my, I'll stop here.
I think we need a whole another panel discussion for this, and it could last 4 to 5 hours. Honestly, it's a topic we can go on for a long time. We do only have a few minutes left before we head back to our main track and the closing session for our raffle winners. So on the topic of salary negotiations, if anyone else would like to share some insights on that, some advice, a few words of wisdom.
I can always so it's difficult to compliment you.
Yeah, I think just echoing what Marie said is definitely true. I think women tend to start low, but then also there's this thing where we always feel guilty first before we even start the war of negotiation. And this is the real big problem with women. We always start feeling maybe I shouldn't ask because no one else is actually asking, and immediately you have already diminished your credibility. But what we don't realize that we're really, really good at being super organized. Now, I have worked with many emotional men, and they are an absolute mess. And it's the women that usually rise on top, is because we're so organized. It's almost like we're hardwired this way. And as long as we're very succinct with our ask, we're usually the one winning. It's because you only lose a negotiation. It's because you waffle around in circles. You would say something, for example, a quick example would be, hey, I'm actually, I want a 3K pay rise. And then you stop it right there and then you drop a period. But that's not what it is, right? You should always be in control. You would say, I'm thinking about a 3K pay rise because this company is paying this much, the market's paying this much. Make your reasoning very, make your reasoning less personal. That's the most important thing, because as you throw in things like, I have a new mortgage, you know, I want to buy this, and then I have these kind of commitment, you've made it about you. And that's a personal thing, exactly to what Marie was saying, right? If there's no budget in the team, that's a manager's problem. But if I make it personal about my mortgage, then it becomes my problem. Maybe I should go and get a freelance job. Maybe I get a part-time job. But if I'm specifically saying to be fair and I want equity, it's because the market's paying me this much. This is the role that I'm doing. But if you bump me up, this is how much more I can give back to you. It becomes a really quick, straightforward negotiation. And this is the reality why women fail to do that. Whereas from a HR point of view, we help other people. We forget to help ourselves because it starts from this whole feeling guilty thing. My peer is not asking, my left, right, center is not asking, maybe I shouldn't. And you immediately diminish your own credibility. I think anybody can be negotiating and anybody can win the art of negotiation. It's not rocket science, to be honest. You just have to be, if you're not confident enough, then make sure you're very, very prepared and organized.
There's some great insights. Preparation, confidence, finding that fuel from within to just have that conversation. I can't thank you enough, everyone, for joining me on this panel discussion. It's been so insightful. I really wish we had more time, but we are going to be going back to our main track. So please be sure to do that, everyone watching, where we'll have a closing session. We will announce our raffle winners as well. So just by registering your place to this event, you have entered that raffle. And then there'll be more details about our virtual after party as well. So thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.